In order to explain how a society works, you must understand who is normal and who is deviant and how they got to be that way. It is not who is right and who is wrong, but about how we define what is right and what is wrong. Deviance includes things that we typically think of as bad, like crime and murder, but it also includes things that are outside the mainstream norms, like breaking dress codes. Deviance is not just a matter of numbers, it is the act of going against what others would accept as normal. For example, having red hair is statistically rare, but it is not considered socially deviant to have red hair. What is considered deviant is to dye your hair bright purple. Having brightly dyed hair could earn you unapproving frowns from strangers. This is an example of social control. These strange looks from strangers are a form of informal punishment. Breaking social norms usually results in informal punishments, like teasing, name-calling, or just odd looks. Although no one gets arrested for breaking an informal social norm, like not washing your hands after going to the bathroom, more serious punishments are given when someone breaks a formal social code, like a law. These include laws like not murdering people, or in the case of North Carolina, where it is illegal to play more than 10 hours of bingo per week. The construction of deviance is a powerful message to show people who belongs and who doesn't, and establishes a boundary between us and them. The construction of deviance also maintains social order. Finally, the labeling of people that are deviant is a ritual that strengthens group solidarity and is always an exercise of social power.
Norms are actions, ideas, and beliefs that a group of people find typical and generally expect from the people within that group. Norms can be about how you perceive others and about how others perceive you. In this video, there are no boys in the room being punished, only girls. This is because girls, in particular, have a much higher rate of scrutiny in what they wear. When the female students were deviant by breaking the school dress code, they were made to repeat what they shouldn't wear. This video shows the double standard between the dress code in boys and girls in schools. A student from that school told the reporter that many male students break the dress code and never get reprimanded. When boys break the dress code, they are not punished. However, when girls break the dress code, they are considered a threat to the school and must be punished. The boys that break the dress code are then not labeled as deviant because there is no punishment for their actions. However, the girls are labeled as deviant for doing the same thing. This norm of a strict dress code for girls allows us to take a deeper look at how the bodies of women are sexualized and how women are held responsible for that sexualization. Women are held accountable to change their behavior to the response of boys and men. Schools make girls change their clothes because it is distracting to other male students. The norm that girls must follow dress code shows a deeper look in the societal norms of how we view women as a society and how we expect those women to be held accountable for the actions of their male counterparts. Norms are not universal, so we must understand the context to understand if someone is breaking social norms or not. The boy in this video was told to stay quiet, read in his head, and even told to leave the library. This is because ever since we were little kids, we have been socialized that libraries are a quiet place, and breaking that norm will be considered deviant. Almost all of us have read out loud in class, or read out loud to a little kid, without any problem. But why is it so different to do the same thing, but in a library? That boils down to the concept of context. Norm violations depend on the context we are in. Deviance is created through interactions and the quality of those interactions. Although it is a formal social norm that we wash our hands after we go to the bathroom, only 50% of people do. This is primarily because once we are adults, no one is watching us and making sure we wash our hands. However, once someone sees that you do not wash your hands, there are repercussions and punishments, as seen in this video. You are only labeled as deviant through your interactions with others. If someone stops you and points out that you didn't wash your hands, you are considered deviant. But if no one says anything, you will not be considered deviant. The construction of deviance is always linked to some form of punishment or social sanctions. There are formal punishments, like incarceration, and informal punishments, like rolling your eyes at someone. Not all norm violations are punished, so that means not all norm violations are deviant. Gun use is a perfect example of the construction of deviance. The norm is that we should not use guns to kill people, and if we violate that norm, we will be punished. Interactions are important in the sense of who is deviant and who is not. In this robbery video, it is clear that the other people in the situation are not interacting with the guns in a positive way. People are screaming, running, and hiding. In this video, it can be seen that the army has camaraderie and are considered strong and heroic for fighting. Context is a large part of gun use. If you use a gun to rob a bank, you are clearly breaking a law and will get formally punished. However, if you use a gun to kill someone during war, you are not breaking a norm violation, and you might even get rewarded by moving up the ranks in the army. These two examples show how a norm is not universal and must be looked at in different perspectives to see if someone is violating a norm. The extent of the punishment, or if you will be punished at all, depends first on the norm. Don't use guns to kill people. Second, on the context, unless they are endorsed by the government. And third, on the interaction, how others react to the action of gun use. If a person is punished for their actions, they are considered deviant, and if they aren't, they are not considered deviant.
Deviant acts and behaviors depend on a society and their culture, but that does not mean that norms and acts are labeled as deviant applied to everyone within a society equally. Oftentimes, it is not the quality of the act that is labeled as deviant, but the social power behind the act. Social deviance is deeply connected to social power. A strong example of how power plays into criminal behavior is seen in people arrested for using and possessing marijuana. Marijuana use is roughly equal among black and white people, yet black people are 3.73 times as likely to be arrested for marijuana possession. This contrast in arrest shows how powerful institutional racism and stereotyping are when labeling deviance. Deviance depends not only on the quality of the act, but also on the person committing the act. Social power can also be extended past race when trying to understand how deviant acts are characterized in relation to social power. Social power can be used to analyze why transgender people are considered non-normative and therefore deviant and are more likely to be victims of hate violence. Hate violence against trans people shows underlying views our society holds with what is considered deviant. In our gender-binary society, we expect people to express behaviors and characteristics that are stereotypically common with their biological sex. When people break those informal social norms, others lash out in acts of social control and violence. The act of labeling deviance can be suppressive and cruel for many groups of people that don't conform to societal norms or ideals. Deviance is not a universal concept. It is dependent on societal and cultural norms, the context of the act, interactions involved with that behavior, and the punishment behind the act. However, these ways of classifying deviance do not encapsulate the depth at which social power and control play into societal deviance. Often, we cannot understand norms without first understanding the stereotypes behind those norms. Norms are crucial for understanding deviance. The degrees of deviance and the effect it has on certain people or groups of people is contingent on how a society constructs social deviance. Labeling deviance is dangerous for our society because it projects the voices of the privileged and disregards the lives of many. Deviance is a tool to maintain social control and power, and it is often bolstered by inequality and discrimination.